Ahoy, fellow pirates! Welcome to the most exciting treasure hunt of your lives. In order to find our gold, our treasure, we must solve this equation because the key of it lies within its answer. But do not fret, my fellow partner, Pirate Felix, and I will help you to find it. So, in order to solve our problem, our first step and the first step of solving any of these problems is to know if we could use replacement. So x equals 0, so we're going to replace 0 into the equation. Tangent of 0 minus sine of 0 divided by sine cube of 0. That will give us tangent of 0 equals 0 minus sine of 0 will also equal 0 divided by sine cube of 0 that will also give us 0. When we solve, 0 minus 0 equals 0, and 0 cubed also equals 0. So 0 divided by 0 is clearly not our answer. But we must find another path in order to solve our equation, one with a little bit more of twist and turns. But don't worry, we would reach the end. So through the quotient identity, we know that tangent over x equals sine over x divided by cosine over x. So we would replace tangent over x using this quotient identity with sine over x divided by cosine over x in our equation. When we have already replaced, we're going to solve as if it were a regular subtraction of fractions. We're going to find our common denominator, in this case is cosine over x, and we'll multiply top and bottom sine over x divided by 1 with cosine over x. This will give us sine over x minus sine over x times cosine over x divided by cosine over x, all of this divided by sine cube over x. I know, a tongue riddle, but we'll get there. Do not fret, the next steps are even easier than you think. So we're going to want to further simplify our equation, and in order to do so, we're going to use the method of common factor. What are we going to simplify specifically is sine over x minus sine over x times cosine over x. Through common factor, you're going to divide all the terms of that equation by the common factor. In this case, the common factor between both of them is sine over x. So we're going to divide sine over x divided by sine over x minus sine over x times cosine over x divided by sine of x. We're going to put that in a parenthesis and put our common factor outside the parenthesis because he's multiplying both of our terms inside of the parenthesis. This will equal sine over x times 1 minus cosine over x divided by cosine over x that we already had that, we didn't touch that. All of this again divided by sine cube over x. To continue with our problem, we must perform a simple division of fraction. If you cannot notice the fractions, we'll put it in another perspective so you might notice. The first fraction is sine of x times 1 minus cosine of x divided by cosine of x. This fraction will be divided by sine cube of x divided by 1. We all know that in fractions, when we are performing a division, it will turn into a multiplication and our second fraction is going to flip. So now we have sine of x times 1 minus cosine of x divided by cosine of x multiplied by 1 divided by sine cube of x. When we do our multiplication, our answer will be sine of x times 1 minus cosine of x divided by cosine of x times sine cube of x.
Hello dear pirates, it's me, Sir Captain Phillips. To continue in this mystery for our treasure, we need to simplify the equation. And we will be left with 1 minus cosine of x divided by cosine of x times sine to the square of x. Now, my dear pirates, we should simplify as much as possible, but right now we can just simplify once, and the answer of the simplification that it will be 1 minus cosine of x divided by cosine of x times sine to the square of x. Then, to keep advancing to our treasure, we should apply our knowledge and use the Pythagorean identity that says that sine to the square of x plus cosine of the square of x equals 1. So we could say that sine to the square of x equals 1 minus cosine to the square of x. So the next step to solve this equation and be closer to our treasure, we should use the different squares, and that will give us 1 minus cosine of x divided by cosine of x, parenthesis 1 plus cosine of x. We close the parenthesis and we open another one. 1 minus cosine of x. Now with that said, my dear parrots, we should simplify our equations. We can simplify 1 minus cosine of x, and it will give us 1 divided by cosine of x, parenthesis 1 plus cosine of x. Just a little bit more, my dear parrots. The final step is here to reach our dear treasure. We just need to replace the x by 0. The equation that we have right now is 1 divided by cosine of x, parenthesis 1 plus cosine of x. That will actually give us 1 divided by 1, parenthesis 2. Now we have 1 divided by 2. Hooray, my dear parrots! We solved this equation, and for that we have our dear treasure that was lost.